everyone, welcome to today's current affairs session of Civilspedia. The topics we are going to see is Sagarmatha Friendship 2018, Irov Tuna, Rupeefall, and with respect to editorial, it is doubling farmers' income. Sagarmatha Friendship 2018. It is a joint military exercise done by Nepal and China. The main objective of this exercise is to combat terrorism as well as to handle this disaster management. What is the relevance of this exercise is, recently, Nepal and China has refused to participate actively in MILEX 2018. This MILEX 2018 is nothing but it is the first military exercise done by BIMSTEC group. So it was mainly organized by India. In that, Nepal has refused, but in the same time, it is conducting the exercise, military exercise with China. That shows it is strategically it's moving away from India and it's moving towards the China. And BIMSTEC, with respect to BIMSTEC, it constitutes about 22% of global population and it contributes a GDP of $2.8 trillion. So BIMSTEC group is very most crucial with respect to India, and Nepal is moving away from BIMSTEC and it's moving close towards the China, shows we have to do some more things to retain these Nepal's hold. And Sagarmatha means it is nothing but it is a Nepali name of Mount Everest and it is bordering China and Nepal. That border the exercise has been carried out. The next one is Irov Tuna. Irov Tuna is India's first indigenously underwater robotic drone. It was the first commercial remotely operated vehicle created by Maker Village Cochin. This Maker Village Cochin is the largest hardware incubator. From 1970s itself, Kerala was leader or spearhead in this electronics department. And after that, many other states has come to that position. But right now, with this help of this drone, they are going to be leading in this electronics field. And with respect to this Irov Tuna, it is navigate up to 50-meter depth, and it was tested in India's first solar ferry that was situated in Kerala state's Vaikam. And the uses of this Irov Tuna is it has made high maneuvering capability at very low cost, and also it helps to inspect ship hulls, dams, ports, and nuclear power plants because these are most hazardous places, and it is too risky to have a manual inspection. So by this drone we can eliminate that kind of riskiness, and also it will help a lot in search and rescue and naval mine detection and with respect to ocean studies also. This Irov Tuna has been supported by Kerala Startup Mission. The next one is Rupeefall. Rupeefall is nothing but weakening of Indian rupee against US dollar. It can be called as a rupee depreciation or rupee devaluation. If the weakening of Indian rupee against the US dollar has happened through the market force, then it is called rupee depreciation. But if it is done voluntarily by the government, then it is called rupee devaluation. For example, if in January $1 is cost 63 rupees, while in September $1 is 72 rupees, that is Indian money gets weakening and US dollar value has been increasing. This rupee fall or this currency fall is not only happening in India, it is happening in many other more emerging market economies also. So why it has happened right now is because first and foremost reason is because of crude oil price rise, and US and Iran relationship is getting tainted much right now, and this leads to Iran is contributing 11 to 12% of OPEC production, and it's giving more oil to India also. Because of this contraction between US and Iran, the oil price of crude oil has been rising a lot. It is going to impact India's current account deficit, thereby weakening the rupee of Indian. And second most important reason is this foreign portfolio is going outflow. That is because of increasing the interest rate by the US Federal Bank. Most and most FDIs and FPIs were flowing outwards to their own country because they are getting high interest in their own country. So more and more foreign investment has been flowing out. So because of these two reasons, this rupee has been weakening a lot. And what are the consequences of this falling of or weakening of rupee? First, on the import side, it is highly negative for importers because the price of the import products will going to rise. It's going to crunch these importers. And with respect to export side, it is a positive. Generally, we used to say that if a rupee gets fall, then it will boost the export. But there is some important scenarios happening within it. For example, it is for positive for agriculture, textile, leather, and service-oriented exports because these exports are majorly depend on India itself. everything is the raw material or all the products has been manufactured within India. So for that products, we will get a huge amount of boost. But on some other export, rest of these exports, we will have this not that much level boost. And it is going to cost negative also. Why? The reason is because of first is global value chain integration. Most of the products we are exporting by using the imported goods only. So this imported goods is going to price is going to rise. So this exported benefit, the margin of profit we are going to get will not be compensated going to this rise in the import price level. So because of this global value chain integration, this rupee fall is not going to give much boost to this export. And second important thing is most of our exports has been invoiced in international currencies only. That is predeterminedly we have invoiced it. So this short-term impact of rupee fall will not going to boost this export. And this exchange sensitivity, that is this exchange money value sensitivity is much faster in while it is very slow on the export. So it is not going to give much boost on the export. Rather, it is going to taint it much on the imports. So at the individual level, how it is going to, this rupee fall, how it is going to impact us, it is a positive or it is boom for NRIs and overseas workers because they are going to deposit in the foreign currency and for that they are going to get much of the Indian rupee. While it is negative for the students who are studying abroad because and tourists because they are using the Indian money there. So there they have to pay much. So it is a negative for them. And at the global level, it will trigger this global trade war because one country is devaluing their money voluntarily. Then the country that is having the trade relationship with that country, they are automatically going to reduce their money value also. In this way, it is going to trigger all the countries to reduce their money value, thereby reduce the economy severely. So what to do to contain this rupee fall? The global factors of oil price rise or this US Federal Bank increasing the interest rate, we cannot be controlled that. But what are the things we can control so that we can handle this rupee stabilization? So with respect to this import side, we have to concentrate much on zero import substitution by enhancing the domestic production, especially using MSME because MSME is a labor intensive one and we have surplus of population also. So demographic dividend, to harness the demographic dividend potential, if we concentrate on the MSME, thereby increase the domestic potential, then we will have much and much less dependency on this import, that by eliminating the import dependency itself. So this leads to decrease in the current account deficit and thereby they reduce the trade deficit also. Okay, with respect to this export side, so incentives has to be given to local innovation and reskilling and upskilling has to be done because if we increase this reskilling and upskilling, we will have more and more value addition because in this global integrated value chain, if our country gets more and more value addition, then this import crunch will not impact much on the export side. And next one is sectoral approach. We have to more concentrate on sectoral approach at cluster and district level to boost the competitiveness. And next one is ease of doing business. If the ease of business can be easily done, then it will promote more and more entrepreneurs or startups to start their export oriented business. And at the individual level, for example, if NRI, they can be attracted or we can make more schemes to attract this NRI to have deposits on FCNR, that is foreign currency non-repatriable deposits. By having these kind of things, we can handle this rupee fall. Apart from that, recently the finance ministry has said in how to control this current account deficit and thereby having this rupee stabilization. What are the measures they have said is, first one is, government is going to reduce this hedge requirement to have this infrastructure loans raised, that especially raised from abroad. So by reducing this hedge requirements, more and more infrastructure loans, they can be raised through the abroad resources. And second thing is, by having this short term, by encouraging the short term foreign loans to the manufacturing sector. So more manufacturing sector will get the loans, then they have started to export more, thereby having this current account deficit will be reduced. And third important thing is making this FPI, that is foreign portfolio investment, to get a bigger role in this corporate market issuer or corporate market bond. And fourth thing is, government is planning to remove this withholding tax on masala bond. Masala bond is nothing but it is a rupee denominated overseas bond. We can raise the money through this masala bond at international level. Right now we have put the 5% withholding tax on this masala bond. But now government is going to remove this withholding tax. Withholding tax is nothing but it is tax deducted at the source itself. And next thing is underwrite. The government said it is going to allow the Indian banks to underwrite this masala bonds via foreign branches rather than going via foreign underwrites. So thereby making easy of having this masala bonds, because this masala bonds are rupee denominated. So our rupee is going to appreciate, or it is going to, this depreciation value is going to be stabilized. And the government is also planning to curb on non-essential imports. By decreasing the imports and by increasing the export, this rupee stabilization can be achieved. And in addition to that, the government is planning to have more and more foreign-based loans. So foreign currencies will come into the India. So the demand of this foreign currency will be reduced down. So it is going to help to India rupee to get stabilized. And next topic is doubling the farmers' income by 2022. So agriculture force, they constitute around 49% of total workforce, but they contribute only 14% of GDP. This shows this pathetic situation of farming community contributing to the India development. And majority, the 5 basic risks that was associated with agriculture is input, market risk, price, credit, and weather related risk. This input risk is nothing but soil nutrients oriented risk. And market risk is the APMC market, agriculture produce marketing, and how one pan-India market for this agriculture commodities. And with respect to prices, this MSP, minimum support price, how it can be effectively implemented. And credit is how the farmers is getting the credit, short-term credit, long-term credit. And this weather-related risk is that climate change, how it is affecting this agriculture production, and the variations in this irrigation facilities. And the farmers' income. With respect to India, this farmers' income has been calculated by 3 important agencies. The first one is NSSO. NSSO has conducted a decadal study of how this farmers' income is having the impacted. So last survey they have done in 2012 to 2013. They have done the survey on household income, which says that around 6,426 rupees monthly income was for this agriculture farmers. This survey of this NSSO is situational assessment survey, the name of the survey. Then the second most organization that is conducting this farmer survey, income survey is NABARD. Recently they have conducted, for every 3 years they are conducting this survey. This survey says that there was 39% rise in this farmer's income in the last 3 years. It was a phenomenal rise, they have said. Then the third important organization is recently Niti Aayog said this one is taking for 10 years and their NSS was planning to reduce it to 5 years, and this NABARD is taking for 3 years. Then Niti Aayog said that we are going to see year on year, that is annual growth rate of this income, farmers' income. So they said this recent study has been conducted by Niti Aayog, and the report says that the growth rate of farmers' income on the real price, that is adjusted with the inflation, it is a 3.8%, while at the rate of a market price, the growth of the farmer's income is 11%. While the NABARD says it is 39%, and while this Niti Aayog says 3.8% only. There was a huge difference between these two surveys. So why this much huge difference come? Let us see it. First thing is, the report has said, the Niti Aayog report and NABARD report has said that the real price, based on the real price, they have said that Himachal Pradesh has the negative growth of -2%, while Madhya Pradesh has the growth, it leads the growth of 16.5%. The major reason is, they also said that within 7 to 8 years, at this rate of a growth rate, that is 3.8% growth rate, if prevails, then Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Odisha only can have this doubling of farmers' income within 7 to 8 years. But we have planned within 2022 double the farmers' income of all the states. But it is not going to happen. There was more and more challenges in it achieving this goal. While this Himachal Pradesh said it was -2%, negative growth in Himachal Pradesh. The major reason for this is calculation in the formulas and the methodology, how they are taken into it. Because according to this survey, this NABARD survey, they have taken only income from agriculture, fisheries and allied activities. They have not taken into this forestry. That forestry income leads that Himachal Pradesh has negative growth, because Kerala, Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, these 3 states have majority of the farmers' income has come from forestry. So exclusion of forestry leads to negative growth of this Himachal Pradesh. This shows that there is a flaw in calculating this farmer's income. If there is a flaw in calculating itself, then it will not show the true picture of how the farmer's income actually has been prevailing. And second important thing is the flaw in this formula, because the growth rate, the formula of growth rate is net domestic product minus this labor wages. That whole amount has been divided by number of cultivation as per this 2011 census. So recently, why this NABARD says that 39% increase in growth rate is because this number of cultivations has been decreased. So the denominator value has been decreased. This shows that increase in the growth rate. So this formula has been a flawed because it shows only depending on this net domestic product and this labor wages and this cultivation. This is not telling the true picture. And this NABARD has said that how to increase this farmer's income. The report says, the first one is concentrating on this enhance the gross income by 3 stages. First one is by enhancing the gross income. Second one is by reducing the input cost. And third one is by stabilizing this income with respect to this risk. And first one is with respect to this enhancing gross income. There are 3 components. First one is by increasing the production. Majority of the problem with respect to is having higher level of production, but the productivity level is much lower. So we have to concentrate much on the productivity. So how we can increase the productivity per hectare is much more important than the amount of production we are producing, because it shows that India is underutilizing this land's potential, agriculture land's potential. Second thing is how to have this higher prices, that is MSP. How to increase this MSP that can be going to benefit these farmers, at the same time balancing the farmers as well as consumers. And third important thing is how to diversify this farm activities as well as how to diversify this non-farm activities. Because of this NABARD survey itself has said that the real income of the farmer community, that is agriculture, rural India, has been rise, not because of this income from purely from agriculture, but because of this non-wages, that is non-agriculture wages income only leads to rise in this rural India. So we have to make focusing on this diversifying farming as well as non-farming activities. Thereby we can increase this gross income of the farmer. And second important thing, how we can increase farmers' income is by reducing the input cost. So by reducing the purchased input, that is the quality seeds, how we have to reduce the cost of that. And then the fertilizers cost, because if we go more and more to organic farming or else zero budget natural farming, then the input cost will be reduced. This will make the agriculture to be sustainable, because increasing the price of input, it's going to crunch the farmer only. And within this reducing cost is exploiting the complementaries, that is more and more traditional knowledge, because we have to combine this traditional knowledge as well as this technology together, because there was a huge lacuna between these two combinations, because most of the technologies that has been produced cannot be applied to the small and marginal farmers, because they have very low amount of this land area. The technologies cannot be applied directly into that land area. 80% of Indian farmers have small landholds only, and the technologies that we are producing has to be for acre, can be applied only in acre land. So there was a mismatch between these two things. So we have to reduce the cost by having the technology rightfully can be applicable to this small size land holding. So by having complementaries, we can reduce this cost. And third important thing is by stabilizing the income with respect to this mitigating the climate change risk. So by having the coping mechanism, that is how we can have the smart agriculture and perma agriculture, so that this climate change impact will not have an adverse effect on this agriculture. We have to, this agriculture has to be made as a part of the solution of climate change rather than be a problem of the climate change, because this rice field and water stagnating in the rice field leads to more and more methane production, and it's going to have this global warming, contribute to global warming. So instead of that, how we can have this carbon sequestration using this agriculture, that is a more important task. Now we are going to concentrate on this, stabilizing the income. And the measures, our government has planned this liberal agriculture export. Right now we have this export of with respect to this $30 billion, but we are planning by 2022 to have the agriculture export by $60 billion. So if we have this liberal agriculture export, that means we are going to have up to certain threshold level, there will be no restriction for this trading of, that is exporting this agriculture products. Because right now, if there is a crunch in the domestic demand, then the government will automatically put a ban on exporting some agriculture products. So this is going to have a fluctuations, more and more fluctuations contributed by this Indian farmers to the global trade. Thereby, the Indian farmers is losing the global market. So we need to have up to certain threshold level, there will be no restriction. So after that only, if there is any domestic crunch, then we will have to have because this balance between this export and this import demand. And second important thing is, with respect to agriculture, is this real-time data is more important one. Because right now, all the NABARD survey or NSSO surveys, everything is taken only based on the sample. We don't have this exact real-time data. So we need to have use more and more technologies to incorporate so that we will have more and more real-time data. For example, we can use the GIS, Geographical Information System, precision agriculture with respect to this Indian data. And by using more and more data, location-based services, we can have more and more transparency. So we can get to know the idea about how much production is going to be happen. Because by using satellite images and GIS technologies, we can predict at the sowing season itself how much production we are going to get, at which month, at which date itself, how much production we are going to get. So by predicting how much production at real-time data, then we can decide how much we can stock it, how much we can directly give it at the domestic market, and how much we can give it for the export oriented. So pre-planned demands, we need to have accurate data, not just a sample data. So for that, we need to have more and more technology oriented. And third important thing, recently government has said that with respect to this WTO subsidies, India has been pulled into this, US has pulled India, that India is giving more and more subsidies to farmers, especially to rice and wheat cultivation, thereby it is affecting the global trade. So India said that why we have to give more and more amber box subsidies, rather than we can give green box subsidies by having this duty-free agriculture capital goods. So if India is going to give duty-free for this capital goods of agriculture, then more and more that capital goods, agriculture capital goods, going to imported in India, and thereby we are going to increase the production. With that production, we will going to export it more. And next important thing is we have to concentrate more on rural infrastructure development, because this only going to have this sustainable holistic development of agriculture. Thereby we can have the double the farmers' income. And next important thing with respect to doubling farmers' income is recently we have put this Dalwai committee. As per this Dalwai committee, the Dalwai committee has said that the growth rate right now is 3.8% only, but we have to have 10.4% per annum in order to achieve this doubling of farmers' income. And if we achieve this 10.4% per annum growth rate, means then our GDP will reach up to 20%. But is it possible to have this GDP up to 20%? That is the realistic question mark rises between it. And next important thing that committee has said this, agriculture marketing has to be put under this concurrent list. The production can take place at the state list, but the marketing needs the pan-India level marketing. So we have to integrate all the markets. So for that, we need to have more and more power of the central government. So we have to put current list so that state government as well as central government can have a complementary role on this agriculture marketing. And third important thing that Dalwai committee has said that is we need to have this post-harvest loan for the farmers with respect to by having this agriculture produce as the collateral. If the farmers is going to get the post-harvest loan, or else they are going to get that is online negotiable warehouse receipt. By having this produce as agriculture produce as the collateral, if the farmers is going to these two things, means it will increase the withholding capacity of the farmer. That is how much produce he has produced, that he can withhold for few days, so that he can make the determination price of this products. Because right now immediately we have to give it, because post harvest loss is too high in India. So the farmers they are at the pathetic situation that whatever the middleman is saying, that amount they have to give it. Otherwise, there will be huge losses after the harvesting. So if he has the time to withhold his production, then then the farmer can talk about how much money he can demand. So it will increase the demanding capacity of. And last important thing is amending this Companies Act, because if we need to amend this Companies Act so that more and more private players will be participate in this farmer producer organization or village producer organization. And we need to have this private players at least shares up to 26%. So that, and also we have to incentivize this private players in this to play in this farmer producer organization as at par with this cooperative societies. Then we will have more and more private participation in this agriculture, thereby increasing the production of the agriculture. With that, we will end today's current affairs session. Thank you.